Yo, Canal Street Dreams, welcome back. We have an extremely special guest, a distinguished guest this week, a councilman from Bed-Stuy, someone who is a leader in New York City. We have he's given us a lot of hope. Please welcome Chi Ossé. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. So glad to be on here.
Yeah, we're big fans, not just of what you're doing as a representative in New York City.
Sure.
But also the real show, like How to Fix New York. Sorry, give me the title.
Why shit not working?
Why shit not working? Yeah. I call it the How to Fix New York
I know.
show.
I think there's so many renditions of how to. I appreciate like anyone's take on speaking to it. It's like why shit not working? How shit doesn't work? Shit needs to work. You know what I mean? So I love every single version of that.
No, and we know that you came to politics through like the BLM movement.
Yeah.
But tell us for the listeners and everybody watching, like tell us how you got an interest in this.
Yeah, I'm a born and raised New Yorker, grew up in Brooklyn, and never thought I would work in politics, but I'm someone who cares about things passionately and deeply, especially when my mind is fixated on something. I was working in nightlife after I left school here in the city and was doing a lot of party promoting, hosting a lot of parties, DJed at parties here and there.
Oh, so you're actually also a former DJ because all of our guests so far have been former
This
DJs.
podcast is DJs.
I don't think I wasn't booked DJing at many different gigs, but I was definitely dabbling into it.
There was a
and did
flyer
couple.
with your name on it. Like
Sure, absolutely.
DJ'd.
There have been
another
flyers
ex
with my name on it
DJ.
out there.
Literally, that's the one prerequisite to be on the show. Is
Yeah.
that you were a former DJ.
Yeah.
I love it. Where were you promoting? We love this.
So I dropped out of college when I was 19 years old, and I was in California. I moved back to the city, and one of the first jobs that I worked at was when public hotels opened up right over here. And I was 19 years old, and I was promoting parties there, and I wasn't even legally allowed to be there. So I won't out my boss who hired me at the time. And then just got into the entire circuit of doing some work at Paul's Baby Grand, Casablanca.
It's also Wong's World alumni. Paul
yeah.
Seven. Yeah.
There you go.
It's my old homie. Yeah.
There's the blonde. I was all around the New York City circuit.
Wow. I had no idea you were in the mix like that. I love it.
I mean, I feel like you said like many of your guests have been DJs on this show. I feel like that's just like a path that many New Yorkers.
There's a pipeline for sure.
Absolutely.
It's like, I don't know what it is. I think it's just everyone DJs. Everyone's in nightlife.
Yeah.
First, if you're here, you like kind of get sucked in for a little bit,
Yeah.
and then you find your path.
Yeah.
Yeah, for our generation, even your generation, I just feel like if you're like left of center or right of center, just a little bit different, nightlife is the way in New York to find your community.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it taught me a lot about organizing, you know what I mean? And when the pandemic hit and when it turned the entire industry and world upside down, obviously I couldn't work in nightlife anymore. We weren't gathering IRL. And, around that time, George
Democrats
Floyd,
need to embrace Partyful.
No, they actually do not. Listen, don't embrace Partyful. Partyful is funded by and founded by former Palantir. Sorry, I'm like looking at both of these.
way.
Oh,
Founded by
goodbye.
former Palantir employees. So we all need to stop using Partyful.
Do not Partyful. Do not
Partyful.
Boiler Room.
They are collecting our data and maybe going to send drones
more
to your
Partyful.
next birthday party.
How about
Paperless
Evite?
post.
Is Evite cool? Like, how
Paperless
should we
post?
party? How
What'd you
should
say?
we organize?
Paperless post.
Paperless post. We open a
I
paperless
know.
post.
Boycott Partyful.
Or just a group chat. Just a group,
A group chat.
Yeah,
What's up?
my
Yeah,
other
I like the old school group chat with like 8 unknown numbers that you don't have saved
Okay,
in your
we
phone.
off Partyful.
I know people are still gonna use it. It's okay, but like when the AI takeover happens, they're gonna start making arrests at baby showers.
Damn.
I don't know.
Damn.
So like when the pandemic, came about and partying ended, it was like a real moment in my life where I was able to sit with myself and reevaluate what was next. And that's when George Floyd was murdered, and so many people were taking to the streets, and I was so deeply impacted, as I'm sure many people were, by the images and videos that we were all seeing. And I left to go to a protest and started going to, more every single day after that, started speaking at some of these protests and documenting what was happening on the ground through social media. And people were listening to what I was saying and following, some of the things that I was posting. And I ended up founding this activist collective that started organizing some of the protests that were taking place on the ground of New York City at the time. And, we ended up honing in a lot of our, activism on the powers of city government, especially our city council, especially when it came to, how they negotiate our over $110 billion budget here in New York City. And when I saw that my city council member was not navigating that budget in a way that I would have, I said, fuck it, and decided to run for office myself. So
Respect.
Yeah.
Okay, so you decided to run for office. How did you start the campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I was 22 at the time, just passionate and had nothing to lose, and was surrounded by a lot of people who were out there with me on the streets who were like, yo, let's do this. And it was a ragtag team of 20-something-year-olds, people in their early 30s who were doing extensive research on how to start a campaign, going to the New York City Campaign Finance Board, starting a campaign, bank account, all of this paperwork. And I had a really amazing community of folks who wanted to see some level of change, whether it was local or not, to deal with some of the pain that we were experiencing in the world at the time. And, my former campaign manager, Paul Spring, who was a musician prior to and still is a musician today, just really got it together. And
Probably a DJ.
Not a DJ, but I think he could great taste in music. He's on tour with Jean-Baptiste right now, but really, was able to organize a campaign, and it was a learning experience. None of us have worked at the time in politics before, but it was a lot of graphic designers and people who worked in fashion and music, no one who worked in politics. And we brought all of that to a local city council race.
I love that you took club promoting
Yeah.
and applied it to city politics. This is inspiring.
Sure.
Because I work with a lot of people in nightlife, in restaurants, where I'm just like, man, these skills could be applied across the board, but to see somebody like you do this successfully is incredible. I don't think everybody can do it, but it is a very inspiring. I think you're inspiring a lot of people.
Thank you so much.
now.
I mean, I always say, and I'll say this to camera, if you're a party promoter and you can get people to come to the club in February, you can get people to the polls in the summer. You know what I mean? So it's the same organizing tactic in a very different way, but I think it definitely informed some of my style of activism and how I navigate as a politician.
Yeah, and I also think what's cool is you participated in New York before you came to represent it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people, I think, that run for office in New York, want to represent it, and it's like, I never seen you outside, bro.
Sure.
Never seen you outside.
Or who love the city, you know what I mean? And understand the city. There's so many people who get involved in politics or even mainly vote in elections who hate everything about New York City, right? Whether it's the noise or the vibrancy or the young people doing dumb shit, right? But that's everything that makes New York,
Yeah, you gotta love it.
Absolutely.
And let's, we should talk about some of your policies.
Sure.
I think the FAIR Act was a big one.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that. Talk to us about some of the, I guess, your signature policies that you're
Yeah, absolutely. So when I first got elected, I was still living at home, in the home that I grew up in. Rent is so expensive in the city. And one of the obstacles that a lot of prospective tenants face here in New York is being forced to pay a broker fee, sometimes to a broker that the tenant never hired, right? So this broker is working for the landlord. They're charging you 15 to 30% of your annual rent on top of, first month's and last month's. And sometimes they're not even doing a great job, right? There were so many listings that I went to, when I found apartments online, and the broker either wasn't there, was vaping outside, was late to the listing. And this is not a isolated experience that New Yorkers have.
I experienced the same.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then ask you to pay $3,000, for their services. And I think that's, I found that to be bullshit. I was like, how is this happening? I am also in a position of power, so let me make this not happen anymore. So for 2 years, I built a campaign that would ban forced broker fees. So I introduced the FAIR Act, which stands for Fairness in Apartment Rental Expenses Act, which would require that whoever hires a broker in the city of New York would pay the broker fee. So if a landlord hired that broker, then they would pay it, which happens 9 times out of 10. And if a tenant wants to hire a broker, then they'll pay the fee themselves.
Yeah, no, I do think there needs to be significantly more regulation of real estate brokers.
Sure.
Even more than like what you've done is already incredible.
Yeah.
But we have never talked about this on the pod, but one of the biggest reasons we faced extreme financial hardship, despite my having like a sitcom that went 6 seasons and like multiple shows and made money, I put pretty much all of my life savings into a home that we bought in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And a broker representing the sale of the home told us when I listed it for sale, we wanted to come back to New York, told us, "Oh, you can't list it like this. You need to repaint, you need to do this, you need to do some renovation." I said, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Brought in a contractor that worked for him and his family.
Right.
And I trusted him because it was a referral from a friend.
Sure.
The first day on the job, he sends me photos. Your whole house is flooded. I said, what? He said, the water line popped behind the fridge and the whole house is flooded. I'm like, I've been in this house for 3 years. Nothing ever happened.
Yeah.
What is going on? He's like, you have to redo all your floors. You have to do all the walls. We ended up spending mid 6 figures.
That's ridiculous.
To renovate this place.
Yeah.
Finally, then listed it on the market like the week before the fire. Then the fires happened. We had to leave. The rain came after the fires. All of a sudden, the whole house was flooded again after spending mid 6 figures. And I was like, what's going on? We called an emergency remediation service. They came and they found out that all of the drains were installed in reverse on the home.
By the contractor.
By the contractor. All of it was shoddy work. And then when we pulled all the permits and got underneath, we found out that this contractor that the broker brought and vouched for and negotiated with for us was not even licensed to do the work that he did. Bailed, left town. We can't even get a hold of him.
Yeah.
And now we're totally
Oh my God,
screwed.
left town?
And then we had to pay for a full renovation.
On
Basically,
top of
what we
everything.
paid for him to do, we had to now pay again. Basically, we've bought this house like 3 times.
Yeah.
Brokers, not all of them are bad,
Yeah.
but there's a large chunk that
A
are.
lot of them
you
are
know?
shady.
A lot of chunk.
A lot of
that
them
was a
are
whole
shady.
scheme, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was. And then
Some
we
used to sell bottles at Gold Bar, you know?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Well, there definitely is a bottle girl to real estate pipeline, but we won't talk about that. But this man,
Or former DJs as well.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, real estate is really there when you don't. When things get tough, real estate
Yeah.
is there. You take that exam and then you start showing up.
They
You're
be
like,
giving them licenses out to anybody.
Yeah.
And it's really important to like not just trust, you know, because I
Yeah.
think what happens
Oh,
is
totally.
we all have like anxiety and nervousness and then hopes and dreams around real estate.
Yeah.
So it's like, I trust you. Oh my God, I
Yeah,
trust
yeah,
you.
yeah.
This was a near $3 million loss.
That's so
Yeah,
nuts.
or just giving these
are
people
you suing?
power.
You can't find him?
We are we've notified the broker that
Okay.
we will be suing.
Okay.
I'm waiting to like sell the home and get it all done, and then I'm gonna take full legal action.
Yeah.
I've already found
We're
an
coming
attorney.
for you.
Yeah, good.
We're
Let
coming.
them
you know who
They're
you
coming.
are.
Yeah.
We're coming for you.
Because
And
you
your
just can't do
house.
this to people.
You can't. Take their house. Take
That's
their
what I'm
homes.
saying. I'm coming for you in the house that your wife's dad bought
Yeah.
you, babe.
Yeah.
That down payment didn't come from you either.
Right, right.
Yeah. So we definitely are going to take legal action.
Sure.
I'm not going to handle it in the street.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good,
But
good,
We've
good, good,
graduated from
Huge
that.
hardship.
Yeah.
No more.
Huge hardship.
Sure.
But yeah,
It was
real
tough.
estate. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
when I saw that you are doing things to, you know, tighten the nuts and bolts around
Yeah.
like the industry of real estate brokers, it's important.
Yeah.
And I think there's even more to go.
Absolutely. There's always, housing in New York City and housing in this country in general. It feels like the wild, wild west, right? Both the housing crisis, tenant protections, real estate brokers. I always say that the answer to solutions for housing is always yes and there is a lot more work to do. Sometimes it does feel, not sometimes it feels, but in New York City, a lot of our elected officials are sometimes influenced by the powers of real estate. So when you think of some of these solutions as being common sense, you understand that there are people who sit in my seat who are standing in the way of that progress. And that's something that I've been very passionate about trying to change within city government.
Yeah, like in the industries of medicine, law, financial accounting,
Sure.
there's a lot of like, established malpractice law.
Yeah.
And I think that you're starting to develop this around real estate.
Yeah.
Because there needs to be like some foundational malpractice like
Absolutely.
standards
Yeah.
in this industry.
Yeah.
And in terms of development of the city and things like that, like this is a more esoteric philosophical question, but are you more of like a Robert Moses fan or a Jane Jacobs or what is your kind of like
Oh my God.
philosophy behind urban development?
Yeah, I think Robert Moses is an evil or was an evil person.
Agreed.
And was the father of redlining in New York City, and the BQE sidelining Black and Latino neighborhoods outside of whatever.
He could be, he could actually get credit for creating global warming between like
Sure.
the Garden City and the automobile.
Right,
Like
right,
you can
right.
kind of tag global warming.
We can accredit it to Robert Moses for sure.
Yeah, pre-Gronk, it's on Robert Moses' head.
Literally, he's worse than the data farms or the data centers. Yeah, I think he did want to build parks and public infrastructure within the city of New York, which, obviously I think most of us are very supportive of. I want to see an increase in investment within our city's resources for the public. In addition to that, like something I'm extremely passionate about in terms of development is making sure that there's enough housing for the increasingly growing population in the city, right? Over the past 20 years, 40 years, we've seen a skyrocketing in jobs within the city, right? Across various different sectors, most especially within business and tech, but in every different type of sector of business. And at the same time, we haven't seen that rapid of an increase in housing within the city of New York, whether we like it or not, right? I think people see developments going up and it feels like so much development is happening, but there isn't really enough housing to meet the need of people who are coming to the city of New York. So currently, the vacancy rate of housing within New York City is at 1.6%, which is at a historical low. So we have people moving into the city from all over the country, and they're competing for the same homes as people who have been here already, right? So, say you're a Bed-Stuy resident, a neighborhood that I represent, and you've been an MTA worker and have lived in the neighborhood for your entire life, and your landlord's charging you $1,800 a month, and then this, person who moves here from somewhere else is working in tech and making $200,000 a year or more, and they want to live in your apartment. The landlord sees their salary compared to yours, can charge the rent higher, and give that space to that new person rather than the person that's been there long term. So with that philosophy, we need to increase our housing stock. Of course, affordable housing needs to be at the forefront of that conversation, and something that I've been proud to do during my tenure in the city council. But there's a lot of other council members who are not very keen on building housing. And I always say that change is the most constant thing here in New York City. And in order for us to keep people in the city, we need to make room for as many people as possible.
Yeah. And what is the plan? Like, what type of housing would you like to see erected in Bed-Stuy?
Yeah,
Let's talk Bed-Stuy specific.
Absolutely. So I just greenlit 4,000 new homes within Bed-Stuy, and it's various different types of housing. There's low income housing, so rents, that are as low as $500 a month for folks who are formerly homeless. There are rents close to the subway station that are like $815 a month for a 1-bedroom, $1,115 a month for 2 bedrooms. This is truly affordable housing. And even some people are mad at that, right? Because they don't want buildings going up or increase in density, but that's how we, prevent displacement. At the same time, folks who are making that $200,000 plus salaries, they're moving to Bed-Stuy anyways. And there also needs to be some availability in housing for them, so they're not competing for the same homes as people who have been there long term. So with that question, my answer is always yes and. Again, like I want to prioritize affordable housing. I've, signed off and greenlit on affordable home ownership opportunities within my district as well, but also housing for those who are moving here, and we can't stop them from moving here, who are making, some of these larger salaries as well.
Yeah, and then with these housing project, they're not projects, but let's housing development projects, right? Who is, are they owned by developers? Are they owned by the city?
Yeah,
Mainly developers.
So I mean, it's mainly developers, and it depends on the plot of land, right? In my because I'm a member of the city council, I mainly have control over city-owned land, right? So whenever it's built on city-owned land, it'll either be a nonprofit developer or a community developer, or sometimes the city, will definitely have a role within the building of those projects. But there's also, as of right, housing within New York City, or as of right real estate, right? It is America. If someone owns a piece of land and they want to build on that piece of land, it's harder for me to impact the type of housing they want to build there. Of course, if they want it to go higher than what it's zoned for, we're really getting into the the nitty and gritty of all of this. But if they want to build higher than what that area is zoned for, they have to come to my office for approval. And that's where we're able to negotiate more affordable housing on top of some of their more market rate housing that they want to build.
No, that has always been an interesting topic, though. If you live in New York City long enough, you start to see this tense debate around height limits for buildings. And it's a very interesting debate because I came from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are people mad about height limits? And I lived in the Lower East Side at the time when I believe it was Bloomberg wanted to raise the height limits on buildings. And
People were pissed.
People were pissed. And the East Village and West Village, they have a strong coalition. They were able to prevent the limits from being raised in their areas for the most part. But the Lower East Side, I think, didn't have as strong of a coalition, didn't have strong leadership. And also, I don't know if they had the wealthy developers there yet to fight and maintain their power. So the height limits went up in the Lower East Side, and that's when that building, the Ludlow, came in. And that's when that Club Libation came in. And it did fundamentally change the neighborhood.
Sure.
And to this day, I don't know anyone that lives in that building, the Ludlow. And a lot of my friends got displaced. Now, so I just want to see from your perspective, because me and my friends are all fans of yours and we all support you. How is Bed-Stuy going to do this differently so that same thing doesn't happen? Because I got a lot of homies that live on Monroe Street and out there.
Of course.
And so I'm just curious how you're going to navigate that.
I mean, well, it's not just building affordable housing, right? And, during my past 4 years as being a city council member, I've been unlucky to have a mayor who maybe doesn't get it when it comes to this, right? I am one of 51 members within the council. He's maybe one of the most powerful elected officials in the city. If
the zero bond villain.
Exactly.
Eric Adams.
And Eric Adams, and I'm sure everyone knows this, but just was a sellout, right? Was indebted to the real estate industry, rents raised by 12.6% under his first term and only term as mayor. And, that also impacts our housing crisis. And,
I mean, even if just his haphazard legalization of marijuana with wishy-washy policies back and forth, that has affected commercial real estate in a terrible way. Sorry.
Yeah. And, I'm sure Bloomberg wasn't much better around that issue either. You know what I mean? That's why I was one of the, earlier supporters of Zoran when, he was campaigning and now won his primary and hopefully will win this coming November. And, of course, we can build affordable housing and build housing in general, but we also need a mayor who gets it, right? And supports a rent freeze. The Rent Guidelines Board, which is a board that's appointed by whoever the mayor is, can appoint folks who will freeze the rent for thousands, tens of thousands of New Yorkers, which is essential to keeping people in their homes. Zoran's committed to building affordable homes as well across the city. And I'm looking forward to actually having a partner in the mayor's office who will actually take these issues seriously, because I don't think we and I'm really hopeful that he'll win, that we'll have a mayor like him, or have ever had a mayor like him in a very long time.
I absolutely agree that supply is the issue with housing in the city.
Yeah.
I think most good people can agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
The issue of supply is just complex and interesting to me, and I want to continue talking to you about it, is that there's also a lot of apartments that are vacant in this city that landlords sit on
Sure.
that are rent controlled.
Sure.
And so, like, what mechanism do you think there is that the city has, or does the city just not even have power to force landlords hoarding rent control apartments to actually rent them out?
Sure. So this is something that's always in my comment section. Again, the vacancy rate,
And it's not your
that
fault. I want to say that.
Yeah, of course. And the vacancy rate is at 1.6%. So it is still pretty low compared to where the housing crisis is. The current number of vacant affordable homes or rent stabilized homes in the city, I think it's about 30,000 to 50,000. I think the actual number is a bit unclear. And what some of those landlords are saying is that those homes are in disarray and they don't have enough money to fix up those homes. I'm sure some of those landlords are telling the truth. I also believe that some of them are doing something called warehousing, which is when some of those units are vacant. I co-sponsored a bill within the city council that would increase the Department of Investigation's oversight into some of these warehouse units. That bill has been blocked by Mayor Adams during his tenure. The council passed it 2 years ago. He's not enforcing his agencies to take this issue seriously. So again, really optimistic about the next mayor and enforcing a law such as this one so that we can get to the bottom of the truth behind these vacant apartments.
Yeah, we need that because that's the other thing is that you live in the city long enough. You have a friend whose job is to like work for a terrible landlord evicting people or work for a terrible landlord, like reporting false vacancies. Like you just see that. And I feel like building is the number one, that will help a lot.
Yeah.
I think also just figuring out a way to twist these landlords' arms and open up these apartments.
Sure. Again, the yes and approach, it's building more housing and increasing supply. It's getting to the bottom of some of these vacant units and making sure that they're available in the market. It's rent freezing, it's universal rent stabilization, good cause eviction, right to counsel. So when folks are facing eviction, the city can subsidize, legal attorneys for them. It's a yes and approach when it comes to housing. I think as a politician, sometimes when I speak about one, people think I'm ignoring the others. But it's such a complex issue that you have to fight for all of these issues. And
I like the way you're already thinking about it is to even your mind is going to legal aid because like to enforce and to actually have a productive system, there needs to also be access to free legal aid.
Yeah.
Because many times when you're mistreated or you're the victim of malpractice, like who do you turn to?
Totally.
For us right now, it's almost like we don't qualify for legal aid, so I got to set aside the money to actually go after this broker, and that's why we haven't yet.
Right.
And the access to legal services for people is really, really important, and they go hand in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I also think one thing that I've seen work really well in the city is the lottery system.
Sure.
Right, like.
I think.
Okay, yeah. Tell me.
I think. Because supply isn't as high as it should be, I think it's like tens of thousands of people applying for, a 200 unit apartment, right? So I think it's not really working as well as it should be because of how little affordable housing or housing in general we have in the city.
Yeah.
And some people who do qualify for sometimes a lottery, like will qualify for an apartment that's like mad expensive. You know what I mean? So it goes back to the increasing supply issue that would aid in the lottery. And, in many cases, sometimes the lottery wouldn't have to exist if there was enough housing. You know what I mean? Folks would be able to just apply to, different apartments that are affordable and meet their salary and their credit and whatnot. And we'll be able to get those apartments. It shouldn't have to be a rat chase to find a home. You know what I mean?
Agree. I agree. I will tell you why I said I think the lottery system is one of the few things I've seen work is because I experienced like the Ludlow going up in the Lower East Side and I still don't know anyone in there. So I was like, I don't know if that was the most productive. I've also seen multiple situations where there's a building with empty rent control apartments, empty rent stabilized apartments. So I've seen like how really big wealthy developers get around the laws. But the lottery system, while it does not there's not enough units. Like you're saying, it's making barely a dent in the problem. It is one of the few systems that I have seen work because I've lived in multiple lottery buildings and it created community in that Jane Jacobs way, where Robert Moses's approach was like the garden city, garden state. I'm separating. All right, wealthy people are here. I'm building a white fence. Here's your park. Everything was out around boundaries and borders and like a strata in many ways. Jane Jacobs was like free for all. The way a city works best is eyes on the street. All different social strata of people are living together and people are their own police and they're watching out for each other. And there's an organic community that's built. I like, sorry.
No, you're so good. I think there's certainly success stories when it's come to the lottery process. I think the fact that it even has to exist is it problematic?
It's a failure of the other things.
Like it's exactly. It's a failure of like the fact that there just isn't enough affordable housing for the people, right? So to live in the wealthiest, city in the wealthiest country in the history of the world and have people like have to be in a lottery system to find an affordable home is sometimes not the best situation.
No, it is crazy that it's the only thing I've seen work.
But it's definitely saved many people's lives and have, gotten them a place where they're not paying, majority of their income, on their rent.
Yeah, because I see the lottery system as a microcosm of like what could work in this country. But I agree with you. There's just too few lottery units. But like if every single building had to reserve a certain number of units for lottery and people who were not at the same economic class are forced to live together in the same building, you actually create community. And I actually think it solves a lot of political issues because I lived 192 South Oxford. There was a lot of lottery units on the whole row. Right now we live in a lottery building. And just seeing how everybody from different walks of life have to interact with each other, it creates literal community. And there's like there's a couple special needs children whose families could not afford housing that got into our building. And they're always just like, by the grace of God, they saved us.
Yeah, it changed their lives.
100%.
They're able to get access for healthcare they wouldn't have been able to otherwise. It's really crazy to watch it happen in real time.
But I don't know. I'm just a lottery fan. My bad.
Of course. No, you're so good. But like, I think there's some great success stories. And I obviously have friends who have really succeeded from the housing lottery for sure.
Yeah, because sometimes it's like when you build, this is for these people and this is for those people, it creates a little bit more even, I wouldn't call it segregation, but just division.
Totally.
And I like when it's, imagine if there's like a building on Central Park West, like, 100 of these residents got to be lottery. Like, I'd watch that reality show.
Sure.
It changes the whole environment.
Yeah.
Because I think rich people get so like once you get rich, you just want to, people want to be like, oh, I just want to be safe. I want to get away.
Sure. Out of sight, out of mind.
This echo chamber. And I think it's that Robert Moses type of development that has actually hurt the like American mind.
Sure. Absolutely.
That's all.
Yeah, totally.
My bad.
No, you're so good.
Agreed.
What other, like, is there any other outside, we'll get off of, apartments and landlords and things like that. Cause you're such a like, just wealth of information and passion. What other things are you passionate about in the city?
I mean, I think the number one thing that I'm concerned about right now, and, I can be focused on various different issues within the city. Affordability is like the number one priority, but it's how we push back against rising fascism right now in our country. And I know that sounds maybe overstated, or maybe some people don't feel the seriousness of that.
No, it's just right.
Yeah.
But the federal government's really fucking scary right now. And I don't believe we have a Democratic Party that's pushing back hard enough, right? I appreciate that, Democrats are shutting down the government right now and putting that blame on Republicans. But we really need to be taking a stronger approach in how we communicate to the American people that Democrats are the better alternative to these neo-Nazis who are in government. And, especially with, Mom Donnie, becoming the next mayor, God willingly, there's going to be a lot of pressure coming from Washington, D.C., right? Trump has a target on New York City, and it is in our best interests here in city government and state government, and our colleagues in DC to fortify New York City, right? Making it as affordable as possible, making sure that there is, healthcare for some of our most vulnerable New Yorkers, making sure that we are increasing our job market within the city and fighting for it to be a bastion of what democratic leadership can look like. And in order for us to do that, we need to elect better Democrats, make sure that we are not akin to some of those Republicans by taking the same money from these large corporations that are influencing our politics. So that's where a lot of my, I guess, larger priorities lie in terms of how I want to push back against some of the larger issues that our country is seeing, which will trickle down and impact our city.
No, it's great to see the allyship you have with Zoran and like how there are New York politicians getting behind him, because there is this huge like federal mandate against Zoran, his policies, and New York. We're like public enemy number one to the federal government right now.
Totally. And it's not just Republicans, right? Like there are establishment Democrats who are probably funded again by these same lobbyists and super PACs who are not supporting, our Democratic nominee. It was blue no matter who, in 2016, it was blue no matter who in 2020, blue no matter who in 2024, and now no more of that in 2025. So
yeah, and it's been shocking to see which Democrats, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get you in any trouble, but it's like to see some of the Democrats who have kind of like, always kind of like wanted our votes and been like, I'm on the progressive side. To see them not support Zoran has been shocking to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are full of shit, and I think it's not shocking for me, maybe because
you're in it.
I work in it, but I think it's been upsetting to see, especially given how inspiring of a candidate and campaign he ran and is continuing to run.
Yeah, I feel like we're like in a Batman storyline. Where like there's a new guy coming in and he's going to clean it up, and like everyone's just against it. And that to me is the biggest sign that Zoran is the great hope, as well as yourself, because people don't want you guys to continue succeeding.
Yeah, and not people, right? It's like politicians,
wealthy
you know what I mean?
people.
Politicians and like these people who we don't fuck with anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like the right enemies to have,
That is a really good way to say it. There are politicians that have the right enemies, because if those guys are against you, it's like, oh, then they're probably doing something actually for us.
Exactly. The landlords don't like him. Like, why not?
It's a good sign. Things might change positively for us.
Wall Street doesn't like him. I
New
wonder
York
why.
Post, like I see the New York Post every 2 months running an article. Landlords, small landlords losing value in rent control buildings, can't even sell them. I'm like, dude, I know you put that building on the market, it's selling the next 30 minutes.
Totally. I think if you have a roof over your head, let's chill for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And you own that roof too. I don't know.
Where are you eating at in the city? Any restaurants you into these days?
And maybe you can help with this, because I have found that post 2020, there's been an increase in slop in New York in terms of food. And I blame it on, we saw influx of a lot of New Yorkers, and I think TikTok food really, AI food, I consider it AI food that
expensive
has
AI
infiltrated infiltrated a lot of our food scene. I feel like there's like 7 spots that I eat at in the city that I really love.
What are the 7?
It's definitely the Fly in Bed-Stuy. I love Mariscos El Submarino. The Jackson Heights location, not the Greenpoint location. No shade to the Greenpoint location. Or shade. It's more expensive there. Like it's not as good, not as spicy.
You get a hint of dry cleaning chemicals.
Right,
in the
right.
Ristos. Not as
The
delicious.
soil.
Great Noodle Town
of
is
course.
pretty great.
That's
I
up
love.
there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. What else do I? Where else do I go to? I think. I mean, you both probably aware of this. I think like New York's Hood Chinese is like the best in the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's this spot in Crown Heights called Golden Chopstick on Franklin Avenue.
Yeah.
And it's really fucking fire. Like it's
I like that.
And
Yeah.
like my partner and I kind of like we're doing like a Hood Chinese ranking and trying to like, you know, test some of the classics at some of these. Like I need it to be the dirtiest fucking like hole in the wall, like dim like pictures of the
Yeah.
food. Like the dirtier the better.
Yes.
And
I want to give the trophy to New York for Hood Chinese, but I
Yeah.
will tell you, I actually think DC got
some
it.
people say that.
Okay.
Yeah, really.
I'm
Yums
gonna say
in
I'm gonna
DC.
be with you on DC because I
Really?
did have yums and they have this thing called mumbo sauce.
Mumbo sauce. That's
Next
what I
level.
hear.
And it's just-
I've never had it, so I need to try
it's
it.
crazy.
Do they have the yellow rice situation
They
that
don't
they do?
have
No.
yellow rice,
Yeah.
but which you get at the like Latino Chino spots.
Yeah.
That's really fire.
Yeah.
That New York has that
Yeah.
DC doesn't have,
Sure.
and then like the Latino Chino spots will have like frozen blue Hawaiians, and like
Okay, yeah,
I love
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
Frozen drinks are
DC
crazy.
Yums is it's like the perfect mix of like DC
Yeah.
black like soul food
Yeah.
mixed with Chinese
Oh,
food
wow.
is next level. But if my favorite Hood Chinese spot in New York City
Yeah.
is Hua Long on Fulton Street
Okay.
in Fort Greene.
Okay. Wait,
That was
is
my
it
joint.
Hua Long? I always
Hua
hear
Long.
Hardee's is better.
Hardee's
than-
is good.
is better.
Hardee's is good, but I just posted up at Hua Long, South Oxford, Fulton.
Really?
That was my joint.
Do we not
forever.
fuck with Cum Cow anymore?
Cum
Is
Cow's good. It's
Okay.
like bigger,
Yeah, right,
but
right.
their food is not as fire as Hua Long.
Okay. I'm gonna check that spot. I'm make sure that we like exchange.
Yeah,
that,
I'm
'cause
gonna give you that spot. You will love it. They
Okay.
got a bench outside.
Oh,
My
wow.
my
That's a
barber
little
shop
too
next
fancy.
side.
No,
That's
but
a little too
bench
fancy.
outside is
Seating?
I like a bench outside.
I like when they got the public school desks. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
You know?
it's like you eat free lunch.
Right.
Yeah.
That's inside the restaurant too.
Yeah.
It's like
It's the next level.
like you pulled that like someone there saw a school leave some broken chairs out.
Yeah.
And was like, you know what?
Someone
we don't
working
have
there.
seating in the
Bring
restaurant.
that shit into Cum Cow.
Someone working there had their kid in there after school, and they were like, "You're gonna do
Exactly,
your homework
absolutely.
right here
In
while
between
we."
shifts,
Yeah,
you
they're
know?
like, "We're working.
It's
You're
just-
gonna
No,
stay
the
here."
kid's working too.
Yeah, it's truly bagging it up and
working
doing
too.
math.
Um,
Yeah.
I like Bernie's in Greenpoint a lot.
Okay.
yeah.
Shout out to
Bernie's.
Frankles.
Yeah. I like Frankles too.
Yep.
I like Thai Diner. Yeah, I like Thai
Okay,
Diner.
she
a lot.
loves Thai diner.
I find it I really like Thai food. I think LA has better Thai food than New York
Yes.
City.
Better.
I think Brooklyn, especially where I am, like really suffers from like really good Thai food, or it's hard to find good Thai food. I don't want like broccoli and carrots in my Thai food.
No, there's
Yeah.
not
You know what
much
I mean?
real Thai food in the city.
Yeah.
Queens get the money when it comes to Thai
Right,
food.
right,
Yeah.
You know,
right.
I think you gotta go to Queens.
Yeah.
Thai diner's cool. It's cool
Yeah.
because it's late. It's very few. I'm also like, bring back the 3 a.m.
Oh, totally.
restaurant.
I just had like this, what was that? Do you remember what that?
Think of I forget. Yo, I gotta give you props. The Narcan.
Oh yeah,
Narcan,
We
bro.
did the Narcan
Like
bill.
you did a lot of the Narcan like advocacy,
Yeah.
which is important.
Yeah.
I mean,
because-
yeah, I always see when we've been doing the pop up
Yeah.
here at the flower shop, and the guy comes in, and I'm like at the front, and he's
Yeah.
like, "I need to go refill in the bathroom,"
That's awesome.
and that was the first. I mean, I haven't been outside in
Yeah.
New York City in a while. Like
Yeah.
I had a kid in LA, and
Yeah.
then came back, and I was like, "Oh shit, we're doing this now."
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's
much
incredible.
respect.
Much respect.
That requires old bars to,
Yeah. Which is huge.
get Narcan, get it for free from the city, do Narcan trainings. It's life-saving legislation, and
It
you know,
is
It is.
because none of us do party favors here.
Yeah.
But the thing is, people in every city
Yeah.
are gonna do party
Sure.
supplies, and unfortunately, right now, the party supplies are dirty.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The very
Yeah.
dirty party supplies, and like I do think it shows a lot of empathy on
Yeah.
your part to be like, look, people are gonna do this, and we need to protect them.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Respect. That was one of my
Absolutely.
favorite policies.
I that was one of my first bills, if not the first bill that I passed.
Yeah.
So very proud of that, and especially coming from nightlife and knowing of some of those situations, it was definitely close to home.
Yeah, because I've seen people in response to like a Narcan bill
Mhm.
they deserve. I'm like, deserve
Yeah, I
what,
know.
man?
And these are the same people that are like allegedly going to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
And are pro-life.
Yeah, and it's this.
But they're like, let them die. Like, it's like,
yeah, how is your performative virtue signaling let
Right.
somebody die?
Right,
You know,
right,
like that's
right,
the
right.
wildest
I know,
virtue
I
signal I've ever seen. Craziness.
But yeah, that's my restaurant. That's my consistent restaurant cycle. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Because like I always say, don't try something new on Thanksgiving. Like I hate going to a restaurant and it's a special night out, and like I'm trying something new and it's expensive, and then it's mid city. You know what I mean? So if you have more spots, what do you recommend? Going to.
I really there's a lot of it depends on cuisine for me, but Noodle Town is up there for me. Where else?
Do you prefer another Chinese restaurant than Noodle Town? In Chinatown?
Okay, New York City Chinatown. This is perhaps an unpopular opinion, but it's just not as good as it used to be.
Yeah.
I think Maxie's Wontons has like been a very welcome addition. Everybody really enjoys
It's not as
Maxie's.
good as it used to be at all.
It's not.
There was a spot that I went to growing up called Shinki. You remember Shinki?
Yeah. Incredible.
It was so good. And
Like everyone's gassing Maxie's, and I'm like, it's good.
Yeah.
And it's better than what's here, but like I've had much better.
Yeah.
So everyone needs to chill.
Yeah.
I do like Golden Unicorn still.
Okay.
I go there.
Cool.
But also I used to strongly prefer Jing Feng.
Okay.
And Jin Feng, the escalator dim sum
Yeah,
closed.
I know. Did you go to the recent
It's
one?
not as
the same.
good.
It's
So-
not the same.
Chinatown right now is down on its luck.
It
Like
is,
I
yeah.
really am. I get bummed out about the quality of offerings in Chinatown.
Right.
It's definitely become gentrified.
Yeah.
A lot of kids have left the neighborhood.
Yeah.
I am excited though, because I do think in the next 5 to 10 years, there will be this wave of like, you know how like with Italian immigrants, right?
Yeah.
They left Little Italy.
Yeah.
Little Italy has been shambles for
Yeah.
like 20,
Yeah, yeah,
30
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Not that many great
Right.
restaurants. But you see them open distinguished ones
Yeah.
like Il Cantonori
Yeah.
or I Sodi.
Yeah.
And like, I think that is what's going to start to happen with Chinese
I don't
food.
want that though. That's like I don't like not everything. First of
Yeah.
all, I hate small plates and I hate tapas. I'm sorry.
I like
Abolish,
this. I like
abolish
this
the
take.
wine bar. That's my
Yeah.
next bill. There's some good. I'm sorry. I'm
Don't
sorry.
be sorry. No.
Don't charge me $18 for a cold cucumber salad. I'm not happy
Period.
about that.
My feeling
You
is this
know?
too. If I'm buying a protein like
Yeah.
a steak, a pork chop,
Yeah.
a piece of chicken,
Yeah.
that thing needs to come with a carb or a vegetable
Yeah,
or
yeah.
both.
Yeah.
It can't just be like steak in jus,
Right.
$37.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
my
That's
brother.
crazy.
Yeah.
Where's my potato?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's my spinach?
Yeah.
Where's something
Yeah,
else
yeah.
got to be on this plate.
Yeah.
It can't just be beef in its juice.
I love dive in New York City. Like I just love,
Mm.
the divey spots.
Yeah.
And
Kiki's. I like Kiki's a
Kiki's
lot
is
in
good.
dimes.
Yeah,
Dimes, you know.
Kiki's is great.
If you can get a table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
TikTokified like crazy.
It
but
did
it's
get
still,
TikTokified.
and it's
Yeah.
reasonably priced at
It
Kiki's,
is.
but-
Kiki's is so reasonably
Yeah.
priced.
Kiki's one of the only reasonably priced restaurants in like a poppin' neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very like authentically Greek.
Yeah.
Taverna style.
What are
I
your
think.
spots?
Wow. I don't really leave the house.
Yeah.
I'm like so at home, but I really have been loving Ayat.
Okay.
Um,
yeah.
Love
The
Ayat.
Palestinian
Yep.
restaurant?
I like
Mhm.
order from there constantly
really?
on rotation, at least twice
Yeah.
a week. We're eating Ayat for dinner.
Nice.
I think in recent months we've gone to. I mean, when we pop out now, it's for date night.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like our daytime lunch spots. Like we
Mhm.
have done Kiki's. Penny was really amazing for
I don't think I've been
dinner.
there.
Just open.
Yeah.
Great seafood.
Nice.
Great date night spot. Where else have we been?
Because we're parents now, I
Yeah.
think
Le
we
Voudor.
eat more slightly. Like we eat bougier food now.
Yeah.
Because like
Yeah,
we
'cause we're
gotta
going to
pay
dinner.
the
We gotta make it
nanny
work.
and we
Right,
only
right,
get
right.
out
Yeah.
once. So I'm like,
we're paying to go
Yeah.
to dinner, so
Totally.
we got it's a
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, if
We
you
don't
but
pop
lunch, the
out.
stuff that you like, we order for lunch a lot. Like
Yeah.
chodango. Like we
Okay.
live near Koreatown.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
we eat
we
a
do
lot of
Korean
wanjo.
food.
Yeah.
We eat a lot of chodango.
Yeah.
And then I'll get the mad for chicken.
Yeah.
And then
I'm fucking with This Is Bowl.
This is bowl.
this is
Yeah.
bowl fire.
I'm fucking with
This
This
is
Is
bowl
Bowl.
is fire.
This is bowl is fire.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
get up there that much, but Fuck with Korean food.
Yeah.
I don't mind spending a lot of money on food if it's really, really good.
That's
you know
how
what I mean?
I feel. Yeah.
So if you know spots that are,
I do feel
send me
like-
some of your list.
Like what you've said though, I don't mind spending money on food when it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like when I'm having a really amazing meal.
Yeah.
There is a lot of really really expensive food in New York
Absolutely.
right now.
I feel like that's the norm now.
That's just
you know?
the standard. It's like $30 for a salad. That kind of sucks.
Exactly.
And
You
I'm
know
just
what I
like,
mean?
the $30 salad needs to change my life.
Right.
So I'm just not there
Absolutely.
with that.
You know, we
completely
do.
agree.
We actually will take a cab all the way to Islands in
Okay.
Crown Heights.
Yeah,
Oh my
sweet.
God.
We go to
I grew up
Islands a
going
lot.
there.
We do a whole day
There
to
used
get
be-
islands.
It used to be right next to,
Yeah.
you know,
The
so
museum.
Yeah.
I went recently. You don't think it's changed a little bit?
Yes.
Oh, I mean, it's a bigger space.
You don't think the food's changed a
I
little
think
bit?
it has. The last time we went,
do
I
you get
didn't think
there?
it
Oh,
was.
I
as good.
liked.
What do you get,
I
the
get the oxtail.
Yeah.
I get the
oxtail
plantains. I
changed
get
a little
this.
bit.
I have to be honest. I don't think it's changed, but I can see catching it on a bad day because it's still one dude,
Right. I know.
and the dining room
Yeah.
is 3 times
I
the
know.
size.
I know. Yeah.
But I think it's still the best in this, like in the New York tri-state area.
uh-huh.
Number
Yo,
one oxtail.
I fuck with Peppa's. You been
Okay.
to Peppa's? Peppa's
Yeah,
jerk
yeah,
chicken
yeah,
is really
yeah,
fire. That's,
yeah.
that's in the rotation.
Peppers is
too.
good.
Yeah.
Peppers is good.
But islands, it's a good spot. I do love their macaroni pie too. I think they do a great
Yeah,
job with that.
they do a good curry goat, and the
Yeah.
ginger drink, the ginger beer there is
Oh, yeah.
actual ginger.
Oh, yeah?
It's not like the fountain because
Right.
so many people now just use the fountain ginger
Right.
soda, and I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
So I will stand. I still think Islands is as good as before, but
Yeah.
usually because we have a kid, we're usually like the second people in there, so it's like fresh and it's ready, and
Right,
he's
right,
ready
right.
for us.
I
Totally.
truly, I tell everybody, I'm like, the best thing you can do in New York City is just like have a baby with you.
Yeah.
Because you'll get in any restaurant, you'll get a table, they'll seat
Really?
you immediately.
Oh, get out of here!
Like, I'll go to Via
How old is he now?
Carota.
You said he's a
He's
little
2.
over one. He's 2
He's
now.
2.
Okay. Is he? How's his palate?
He eats a lot of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
He's
I mean, I gave him
really.
ossobuco. He ate it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He
Okay.
eats pork. He eats beef. He eats chicken.
We don't need picky any more
No.
picky human beings in the
No, no,
world.
no.
So
No.
thank you.
We
for
try to
your
really
service.
give him some. He likes sour. He is like an interesting. He really likes a more sour.
Is he like chewing on a lemon?
Yeah, chewing on a lemon. He really likes like interesting soups. He'll
Oh,
really get
wow.
into like a Korean soup, which
Okay.
is fun for him.
That's cool.
Yeah. He's not chicken fingers and French fries.
Good.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
gets funky.
He gets
Yeah.
funky for sure.
I think that's the issue with the world. We have too many people who've grown up on chicken fingers and French fries
Yeah.
running things.
Robert Moses eaters, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's like a one track
That's-
mind.
Exactly.
Anything outside of it,
Yeah.
But
you need-
this has been incredible having you on. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Any exciting things going on in the future?
telling people to vote on November 4th in
Mm-hmm.
this mayoral race, right? It's not over until it's over. We need a better mayor. Vote for Zoran, of course, and just tap in. You know what I mean? I think people don't know that elections are every single year. I think they were really pulled into this race, this mayoral race, and I just want people to be tapped in. And
We would love to throw a party for you the next time you need it.
Oh,
You know,
wonderful!
we would love
yeah,
to
I would
absolutely.
love that.
Yeah.
You guys throw
That would
parties?
be fun. We throw parties.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
throw
will
them
for
here.
you.
Yeah, we will for you.
I'm so
know?
down. We'll get one of those hood Chinese spots to cater. You know?
Yes.
That would be
or
incredible.
I'll make the hood Chinese food.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
we do.
Have you
that would be
ever
fun.
made hood Chinese?
Oh
He
yeah,
has,
I make
yes.
it at
Really?
home. Yeah, that's
He
When you
made
do the
my-
velveting and everything.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
easy.
Yeah.
You just grab it with the egg whites and
Yeah.
cornstarch.
There you go.
Bang.
Yeah, hell yeah. I want
I've
all
seen
of
him
that.
do it kosher.
Really?
Yo, because the OBGYN, I was just greasing the wheels and wanted the OB to take good care of her.
Yeah.
And he's like, Eddie, I can't find good kosher Chinese food. So I made him Kung Pao chicken.
Get out of
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
That's
You can really
crazy.
throw
Wait.
down.
Like if I make
That's-
the hood
that's
Chinese for
fire.
you, I really love you.
Yeah.
Because it's
yeah.
actually
You do
harder.
The Chinese food wings too.
Oh
they do
yeah,
that?
yeah. It's harder
like
to make that
Szechuan
food than
lemon
like
pepper wings that are
small plate
insane.
tapas.
You,
things.
yep, I
Yeah.
completely agree. That's
Yeah.
why I love it more.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
guys.
Incredible
so much for having me on.
conversation.
This is so
Yeah.
fun.